for coming. We appreciate you guys being here today. My name is Kevin Crocker, Division Chief of Quality here at MCHD. We're here to celebrate the life of Miss Julie Crush, and hopefully get her to reunite with all you guys who took care of her when she suffered a cardiac arrest. So thank you guys very much for being here, you and your family, and thank you guys for all being here today as well. So, cardiac arrest is something we don't do a lot of. About 2% of our calls roughly are cardiac arrest. We don't always see positive outcomes in cardiac arrest. So it's really nice that we do get to see a positive outcome. And it's really nice that you agreed to come meet these guys, because a lot of times we go to the hospital, we take care of folks, when we drop them off at the hospital, we never really know what happened to them. So thank you guys very much for being here today.
You're welcome.
Glad we were able to coordinate that. So I think it was in May when you had your cardiac arrest. I was speaking with your husband, Paul, before we started. And kind of the backstory is you guys were taking your son, Tyler, to an appointment, and you weren't feeling well. You were sitting in the back seat, and you kind of told Paul, like, I may need to call 911 because I don't feel right. Is that right?
Yep.
Yep. So as you were driving through Splendora, Paul said you kind of just had a gasp, and then you collapsed on the floor and you started turning blue. And using his words, he was going to floor it and make it to the fire station. So he was going to drive for a little bit as he was calling 911 and decided to stop, which I think is the right choice. So luckily here at MCHD, when you called 911, you talked to our dispatch center. So when you talk to our dispatch center, you get a trained EMT on the phone who's trained in CPR instruction. So Jordyn West was your call taker that day. She's sitting here behind you there. So Jordyn, you want to come up here for a second. So not all dispatch centers are what we call EMD certified, where you're getting instructions. So they're able to give you CPR instructions over the phone. Now I was talking to Paul, and Paul actually was an X-ray tech, and was very familiar with CPR. So you'd already started CPR.
Yeah.
Jordyn is,
and I'm sorry for whatever you heard.
So Jordyn how long have you been here now?
About a year, almost a year.
So they're trained in how to give CPR instructions, and if somebody is having to say things they're apologizing for, they encounter that a lot. Part of their training is how to talk through that and how to, get calm to the situation and give you instructions. So this is Jordyn here.
Nice to meet you.
Perfect. And we'll have you back up.
Okay.
Luckily, where you stopped in a really good location. You actually had really easy access for both our fire department partners with East Montgomery County Fire and Medic 31. Medic 31 is our truck that's stationed in Splendora, and these guys are in Splendora as well. So where you stopped, from the time you called 911 to the first units getting to you, because I think 31 you guys pulled up at almost the same time. Yeah, it was almost the same time. It was 4 minutes from when you dialed 911 to these guys arriving on scene, which is really phenomenal. So you were in a really good location where you stopped. Early CPR and early defibrillation is really key to surviving cardiac arrest. So anytime you go for more than 4 minutes without having CPR, your chance of survival decreases by 10%. So it's a really big drop off. So the fact that we got early bystander CPR from your husband Paul, these guys were there in 4 minutes to start chest compressions. It's really vital to why you're here today.
Yes, thank you.
So you guys can all come on up and we'll kind of walk through it. And then Travis Clay is our district chief. He showed up a few minutes later, so the way
I was late to the party.
So the way our county's set up is we have ambulances kind of throughout the county, and they're broken into 4 districts. We have 4 district chiefs, so a district chief over every area. Travis Clay is the district chief for that area. So these are the guys that took care of you that day. You had your cardiac arrest. So they started, once they got there, they kind of took over CPR from Paul. Your heart was in what's called ventricular fibrillation, which means it was just quivering. So the fix for that, or what we do for that, is provide defibrillation or a shock. So they immediately got you on the monitor, they shocked you, they started CPR again. They do a pulse check every 2 minutes. So the second one, you were still in that V-fib, you were shaking, so they provided a second shock and then resumed CPR. While they were doing that, they also put an eye gel or kind of a breathing tube into your mouth to help with breathing, and they put a needle into your leg to give you some medication.
Sorry.
Which we'll talk about in just a few minutes. And in that time, they gave you a couple medications, one to get your heart started, and another one to kind of stabilize your heart, so some kind of amiodarone, so when your heart is quivering, it kind of stops that quivering and hopefully puts you back into a new rhythm. So, but when they stopped for pulse checks that third time, your heart was back into a normal rhythm again. So it was just phenomenal. And that's where the fun began on your end, because you just self-described yourself as a fighter
Yes.
when I was chatting with you earlier, and I think these guys would all agree with that. So, I think before they even made it to the guy got you into the back of the truck, you had taken the breathing tube out of your mouth, and you had pulled the needle out of your leg. So,
Yeah.
so you were a fighter.
Yeah.
We see that as a good thing. We don't see that as a bad thing at all. The fact that you were just in cardiac arrest, and that you were so, we call it purposeful movement. So you have so much purposeful movement that you're able to reach up and grab things and pull things out of your leg. That's a really, really good sign to us that your brain didn't lose a lot of perfusion, so you have good brain function and you have a really good chance of survival when we see those signs after cardiac arrest. So, but these are all the fine folks here
that too, so
that
the hospital staff was not happy with me.
When I was talking to her before, she said that they had her on propofol for 4 days, and they kept like crank it up, and then she would pull at things, and they would crank it back up more.
Yeah.
So, but I'll open up the floor if you guys want to add anything or say anything. You're absolutely welcome. Anybody.
I just think it was great that you started CPR right away, that you stopped when you did and started CPR right away. That was just vital.
It's good to see the system come together, right? And it starts with that early notification. You go to dispatch center. You just happen to stop at a great spot, like Chief Cocker said. Both our station and their station are within a half-mile probably of the location. And going to the fire station, that's a bit of a gamble, right, for a lot of reasons. But the big one is they're not always there.
Right.
And so early CPR and early defibrillation, it's more important than any drug we give you. It is like the coup de grace, like it's what we gotta do. So it's the most beneficial thing. So just right place, right time, everything came together. So we're happy if you fight. We defibrillate you and you gotta start fighting us. Hey, that's a good day.
I'm glad you look at it that way,
Yeah.
because I was like, oh my God.
Okay.
So Julie, I'll kind of open the floor to you if you would want to come up and talk. You're welcome to say whatever you want, and then we can kind of shake hands and do
Yes,
pictures, and we can
yes.
spend time together over some cookies. So if you want to come up and talk, you're welcome to do that.
And you don't have to fight us this time.
Yeah.
No, listen, I learned my lesson. I had nurses very upset with me.
It was them that broke your ribs.
We'll take that.
Broken ribs. Hi.
Santa Cruz.
Oh, I'm just like, I mean, I don't remember anything, but everybody around me that was there that have told me what y'all have done.
Yes.
Like, I would not be here if it would not been for you guys and my husband.
Of course.
I have a son that has a traumatic brain injury that without me, he would not be here. They would put him away. So I thank you.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, honey.
Blame Kaiser.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Thank you, hon. Thank you, hon. I'm sorry for anything I may have caused.
No.
For fighting the entire time. I've had so many nurses and stuff. Thank you. It was nice meeting all of you, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and my family does too. Thank you so much. Yeah.
See you doing better. Yes, yes.
If you wouldn't mind, we'll take a picture.
Oh, okay.
Just to sit you down.
Yeah. You're working in a hospital, I know what that means.
Travis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, honey. I know that he was probably a lot.
He did great.
To everyone.
Oh, no. He was like,
Funny.
we're on the road. I said, that's okay, just pull over. Yeah, just get her out of the truck.
And then when the people blocked the road, I know you heard some choice words.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I just am thankful for all of you, really am. A lot of people have told me what happened. I don't remember anything. They had me on propofol for almost 6 days. So I don't even remember going out. I don't remember talking to him saying, listen, we need to stop or call 911. I don't remember any of that. When the nurses started coming in, you gonna be good? I was like, I didn't know I was being bad. She goes, you're gonna leave your things, you're gonna leave everything alone? Okay. Yes, I will. I'll leave everything alone. So apparently I gave them a hard time. But I really am thankful because without me being here, his life would be very different. So
Did they determine what caused your arrest though?
I had a pacemaker
Okay.
that was
specifically put in to stop AFib. And apparently it failed because I hadn't had any incidents until that one.
Yeah.
And then they upgraded my pacemaker and put in a defibrillator.
Yeah, we got a new mom.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Dr. Suarez was really happy with the last one. So.
I heard far worse
Oh, yes.
things going on.
Okay, so we'll hand out plaques now. So anytime we do one of these, we give us one lifesaver awards. So these awards go to all of our crews that were involved with the care queue. And when you walk out today, and you'll walk in the hall, you'll see a wall on the left with the lifesaver awards. So the group picture we just took will go into this plaque here. This plaque will have the picture, and it has all the names of the individuals involved in your care that day. And this will go on our wall, and then you actually get one of these to go home with you as
Oh my
well.
gosh,
So, but for our guys, each one of them will get what's called a lifesaver award. It's a plaque. Has your name on it, has the date, and this information, so they all get this to take home. And then we have challenge coins for these folks as well. It's a lifesaver awards. Anytime they have a party friends travel, like yours, they get a challenge coin to memorize.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you, thank you.
George?
Yes, sir.
Blaine?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna get the order right. Look at this. Not even on purpose. Diego?
Oh.
Thank you. Dakota?
Almost.
Nikki? Travis?
Sir.
We'll give you a lifesaver challenge point as well, because your early bystander CPR is really key
Oh my
to this whole
gosh.
story, so.
Thank you.
It doesn't get you out of house chores, sorry.
Let's take one more group picture with the plaques, if y'all don't mind. Oh, all right, right here. 1, 2, 3. Awesome.